stop guessing where the market is going. In this video, I'm giving you my exact entry and exit targets for this week. My name is Vicente. I'm a full-time trader, and my goal is to provide you with the same analysis I use every single week. I'm going to start off with GJ, work my way down all the way to AC. We will be going over EU and gold as well. With that being said, let's get started. So right off the bat, the first thing you want to do is start off in the bigger time frame. Where I like to start off at is at the weekly. So here we can see my weekly structure points. We have a higher high, higher low, higher high. We come back into this demand, and then we get buying pressure from there. Now, you can see right here, this candle is a weak bearish candle, showing me there's a lot of buying pressure there. That's a good sign. So then now, we push away, we come back, we get a lot of bear power here. So once we touch this demand again, we get that initial push that leads to this internal higher high following this. Now, what I like to call this is a three-wave extension. So we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. So now that we have three points, we can now say that we have a new demand has formed, which is here. I'm gonna draw that out. All right. So then now we come into this demand. Now this demand and this demand are two different demands. I'm going to take this one off here in a sec. We touch this demand with this wick, and then that leads to the initial push to the higher high. So now this is no longer relevant. Now this is the only demand we're dealing with for GJ. Now overall, we are in what I like to call impulse phase. There's two phases. There's the impulse and then retracement. Impulse, retracement, right? Those are the two phases that we are. We are currently in an impulse phase to this higher high on the weekly time frame. So that's what's going on the weekly time frame. Now on the daily, what could happen? It could pull back down here to this daily, but look what I do have here for you is that I do have this candle in control, which is this candle right here, previous monthly low. So as long as it doesn't engulf below this, it won't be heading to this area. Until it does that, that's when it'll be the start of it heading to this demand. So right now, we are struggling to go above this resistance, but I do think that's where we're heading because we are in impulse phase. So we're heading to this higher high on the weekly. Let's go down back to the daily and look at this. And now we can see my 4-hour points here. So internally, we have two demands we have to be aware of. We have the daily demand, which I don't think we're heading to at this very moment. Right now, what we want to look at is the 4-hour demand. So here we have this higher high. We make a structure high above these highs, but this is acting as a resistance here. So it's struggling to go even further up. This could lead to the pullback to this demand. I look for an entry here, and then I can enter here, stop loss below here, below my demand, and then I can target just the higher high. Now, if you are a swing trader, you can swing to this high. I like to hold my trades for a day, or sometimes a couple of days. It can be a trade for a day or within 24 hours, or it can take a couple of days, and I'm fine with that. As long as it's under 7 is usually what I aim for. Yeah, so that's what I'm waiting for. Now, a couple things that could happen here, because sometimes it doesn't get here, and you might ask, whoa, hey, Vicente, what am I supposed to do if it doesn't get down into this demand? Oh, it's simple. You just adapt. That's all you have to do. So right here, we have a support and resistance here. So we are pretty much in a range, the start of a range, ranging between this resistance here. So you can see this. We have 2 touches here and another 2 there. So a very clear, strong resistance key level. Then we have this, it's a more minor support, more minor than this resistance, but it's still valid and it's still bounced off twice. And we have more bounces over here. The more times it bounces off of a supported resistance, the more it's valid. So here, let me mark that off. So there's 2 things that can happen here. This can make a higher high. I'm going to wait for a breakout here. I'm going to wait for this to make a higher high, pull back in this new internal demand, and then wait for, get an entry here in this demand. So that's what I'll look to enter if one forms here. Now, the only way that would form is if it makes a higher high. So it will have to make a higher high. Now, if it does the opposite, so I'm ready for both sides. Remember, go with the flow. Don't try to predict the market. Don't predict the market, but go with the flow. Okay, so here, the other thing that can happen is here is this. This can make a lower low, and now we form a three-wave extension internally within this upward structure. But what does that make when we go down? We have a downtrend within this uptrend, okay? So that means I can sell to my buy. So then this will be an internal supply, right? Now, once it gets to a certain area, I don't look for sells no more. For the majority part, I'm looking for the buy. This is my main trade. My main trade is to look for a buy here. I'm looking for a buy here. Now, if I do happen to get a nice sell here in this area or even in this supply, then I'll look to sell here like this. Put a supply here, and I'll look to sell here to my demand would be my target. This would be a counter trend trade because my trend is overall going up on the weekly and on this 4 hour. So you see my green points here. Now you might ask yourself, why is this big red circle here? Well, that's that bigger time frame structure, which is the daily. Now, when I'm in the 4 hour, if I'm in the 4 hour and I'm zoomed in right here, I can tell and I remember that I'm in a structural higher high on the daily. So if this comes bearish out of nowhere, I'm aware that we can come over here. So I'm not completely blindsided by that. So that's why I really like to color code my structure points and then go on from there. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for this one. So we need a breakout to a higher high or a breakout to a lower low here, and maybe sell to this demand or maybe buy. Just depends. If this breaks below here, sweeps this liquidity under here, we have equal lows here, and it comes straight into this demand, then there might not even be an opportunity to sell, and I just look for a buy. Very simple. You just adapt to what the market is showing you, and that's GJ. With that being said, let's go with EU. Now, the market is fractal. Look at this. If you look at just on the 4 hour, you're going to see that we're in a supply. Now, we get selling pressure, but then we get a lot of bull power here. So look at this. Look at the momentum difference. Look at all this selling pressure with many candles, and then one bull candle that is just a lot of momentum here. That tells me something right off the bat without even going to the bigger time frame. And we're about to scale out so we can see the rest of the structure. That tells me that this supply might not hold, right? So now we're going to scale in and see, is there anything else that can tell us that this supply is not going to hold? Because this made a lower low, lower high, lower low. We come into the supply, and when you're following supply and demand, what do? We make lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower high, and continue going down, right? That's usually what happens. But when we go to the daily, we see this. We have daily structure. Now, this is a structure that I'm going off of for this week. Right here, I'm gonna put my Fibonacci retracement. Now, I do this just to measure the pullback. So once we go over 50%, I like to look for buys. Now, on top of that, you see this right here. I'm going to take off my Fibonacci. You can go back and see how I set them up. We're going to go, that's previous monthly low. So we're going to go to the monthly, and we're going to see that this candle is in control. So when a candle is in control, the next candles or candles, one or more, as long as it doesn't engulf below here, then this candle remains in control, and we should be heading to higher high above this wick. That's what this monthly candle tells me. Now, another thing, what was that? That was the daily, and then the 4 hour demand. Okay, no, we have a daily demand and a 4 hour supply. What is going to win? It's a game. The way I see the Forex trading is that it's about weighing out your probabilities. The market is fractal though, so we do have other structure points that are on the bigger time frame. We're gonna go look at that. We're gonna go to the monthly. Now, I don't spend a lot of time on the monthly. On the bigger times, I mean, this is on the monthly, so each one is a month. Each candle's a month. This took 81 bars to make a higher high. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm gonna buy and hold to make a higher high. That's not what I do. But I do use this for my confluence. I know that we're coming off of this bigger time frame 3 month demand, and I know that we have a monthly supply here, so we should get some selling pressure here when we get a little bit higher into here. So right now that just tells me, okay, we're good. we should just be going into the supply. We could get some selling pressure, and then after that, you know, it's too soon to say if it's going to break the supply or actually, let me adjust it. That has to be over here. There we go. If it's going to break this supply, or is it going to make a lower low and come deeper into its demand? But that's way far out. That's a far reach right now. Right now, I'm just using this for the sole fact that, hey, that it can come into the supply. We are coming off of this demand. Look how much buy power there is. It's looking really good. Now we're going to scale in and see where can I look for an entry. So here, I do like this about the week daily. That this candle closed really bullish, coming in deeper into this. So let's go ahead and measure that on the Fibonacci retracement. We come to the 90%. Now, what I've seen over my 5 years of doing this is that when it goes to the 90%, 7 out of the 10 times it's going to break that structure. So don't just go based off of that, of what I just said, but also the confluence of the monthly and knowing that the bigger time frame, we're heading to a higher high, right, on the daily. So I'm looking for this to either break structure, give me confirmation, and then I can pull back buy and go deeper into this supply. Or if for some reason this was to get enough, I am a little bit more buy bias here, but I'm not so buy bias that I'm blind to sells. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjust based off what the market presents and shows me. So here, if we were to get a sudden shift in into sellers, and you know we break this low right here, then that would tell me, hey, there's an opportunity. This might want to pull back, and depending on how it comes back, that will tell me that we're gonna go maybe lower, you know. But for the most part, I do. Let's see. I do think we're gonna go up because of the monthly. On the weekly, I don't have a confluence as of now. Oh, I just found one right here. Previous weekly low in control. So check this out. Previous weekly low. So we have this candle that's in control, and then we have all of these candles that fell to engulf below here that would have told me that it's going to go down lower, but it's not doing that right now. So it looks like we are heading up for this week. That's what I am projecting, and that's what this is telling me. So I have an alert right there ready. So if it breaks above, I'll look to enter, or if it goes below here, I'll look to sell to my demand, or even just to this lower low. If I were to catch a sell here, then I would just either target one would just be the lower low, and target two would be the demand. That's it for EU. Let's go to gold. Oh my, gold is looking so good. This might be my top pair for the week. I am absolutely loving this. Look at the way the weekly closed. We have a previous weekly candle in control. It is so bullish. Let's go ahead and drag that out, make that a little bit more noticeable. Good. I do have a previous monthly low as well, so I do have that marked off already. That was ready for you guys. So here we have a previous monthly low in control. So I use this to show me that this is a very big momentum candle. Show me that, hey, at this moment in time before that candle was visible, this tells me, hey, we're most likely going to make all-time highs. And later today, I will drop another video showing 3 gold trades that I caught to the all-time highs. Really nice trades. Check that out after this video when it drops later today. This will be my first YouTube video. So thank you for being here and tuning in. With that being said, we have that previous monthly low in control. This previous monthly candle in control. Now we have a weekly candle in control as well. So this is not showing me no signs of slowing down. My next target, we did break 3,600. My next target is 3,650. So I'm targeting over here, psychological number, and then it'd be 3,700. With that being said, let's zoom in and see what we can find here. So go to daily. We see that we have, this is my main structure that I'm following here. We have structure low, structure high, higher low. We did form a new higher high, but I'm not gonna put a new point here because when I zoom in, it's gonna be all red, so I don't want that. For that reason, I'm going to take this off. Okay, so now there we go. Now I know that we're at a higher high. We have a previous weekly candle in control. So again, it's right there. Now we have a daily candle in control right here. Beautiful candles. I mean, everything from the weekly, daily is just telling me to buy. Even when I scale down, it still tells me to buy. Really nice demand, really nice, clean, textbook, picture perfect demand zone. It just looks really good. I'm definitely, this is going to be my top pair for the week. Gold, I'm looking for buys in this area. We'll see how it reacts here at this resistance. So let's go ahead and zoom in and see this. So this is my 1 hour structure. So you can see, oh, in my next video I will explain this liquidity graph, but for now we're just going to focus on where I'm going to look to enter. And my main thing I'm only looking for is just an entry here. I'm looking for a buy. I'm not looking for, if this would have had a longer wave, so if the higher high would be all the way up here, then maybe I'd look to counter trend trade. But it looks like if it comes down here, I'm already looking for buys. So for that reason alone, I won't be looking for counter trend trade buys, sells here, excuse me, sells to this demand or even go lower. It's not showing me a sign for that right now. Right now, I just want to buy when it gets in here, but I do have to look at how it's going to react at these key levels. We have right here resistance and support. So as soon as we have 2 points that touch in one line, then it becomes a support and resistance area. So here we have a support and resistance. There's a possibility that we are going to act like a support here. Sometimes it just goes right through it. That means it wasn't a strong one and it only has 2 touches. Now this one on the other hand is a little bit strong. We have 1 touch here, touch here, touch, 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 touch. What is that? 4, 6 touches here. This is probably going to have a reaction here. Very likely to have a reaction here. And if it does, we will leave liquidity here. Price likes to bounce here at support and resistance areas, right? You can bounce once, twice, and then go down lower. Once it gets in here, I'll enter. Stop loss below my demand, and I'll target my target I told you, which is a psychological level, which is 36.50. Very nice, clean, simple analysis on gold. I look forward to trading this week. I hope you guys have a great trading week as well. Yeah, that's everything for gold. Let's go down to AC. AC looks good. Oh wow, and I have this trade setup. I currently do have a student. I'm gonna go over this trade with him, but I got wicked out, and then it went up. And then it went in my favor. I would have got a 1 to 3 here. Really nice trade setup right there. Let's go over what we are going to look for this week, though. I don't want to focus on this right now. I'm just going to look for the outlook of CAD. Okay, so we're going to start off on the weekly. So as you can see, let's not ignore these points. We just made a higher high on the really bigger time frame. This is my 3-month point, and then these are my monthly points. Which are not too significant right now. Right now, what you need to focus on the weekly is really what we need to focus on, which are these points. Right here is that we have a weekly candle in control. So it's bullish coming into this resistance, strong resistance area. So I'm not expecting an easy break. It could break this week or next week. I'm thinking we have a chance this week. We're going to see how it comes into this resistance. The first couple of days of the week to see if it's going to hold. Maybe it'll pull back, because internally we do have a structure, higher high, higher low, higher high. It could have enough selling pressure to bring this down over here and then leave liquidity above here, because there's already liquidity above these 2 highs, this high and this high. This is a key level, making this a strong support and resistance area. In this case right now where it's at, it's a resistance, right? So internally it could do that, or there is an internal demand here. So there's a bigger time frame demand, which would be down here, and then there's this internal demand. Now if we look at this, I have 1 hour structure here. We're going to go on the 4 hour. This is my daily internal structure that led to this weekly lower low. But what happened is, as soon as I made a lower low on the weekly, these don't matter to me. Well, not necessarily completely don't matter. Yes, it's going to act like a supply here, but this is not the real supply. This is dumb smart money, which I'm going to make a video on dumb smart money and smart money and how to go off the right supply and demand, not the wrong one. This is technically a supply, right? That's why people are selling here. Oh, put the wrong one. That's why people are selling here. But as soon as we made this lower low on the weekly, we're not going to go off of the daily one. We're going to go off of the weekly one. So this is my weekly supply. Therefore, this is where it's heading. So we're really close to touching my supply here. Now, someone might say, oh, I already touched right here. No, it doesn't count because it hasn't made a lower low yet. Okay, so that's a very key point to take into consideration. So with that being said, we have this structure that I might look to buy as well, depending on the kind of reaction we have here at the start of the week. I can look for this buy, and I usually have 2 targets minimum. If there is 2 targets, I don't like to over target and force a trade or a target, because that's not good to do. I'm looking to enter here, stop loss below here, and look at the reward on here. Looks like we can get a 1 of 5 just to sweep above these highs. So, you know, I probably target like a 4.5 here. It's looking really good, really nice momentum coming into this resistance. We're going to see how it reacts here. I would like a retracement to at least 50%. Now, where I like to buy is at in between the 50 and 68.6 Fibonacci levels. That's where I like to buy. I get pretty good risk to reward in these areas. You know, look at that. I can get a 1 of 4, right? 3.5, you know, in that area. Now, where else can you target? Is there another area you can target? There's a little bit of a resistance here. This right here, when it goes up and comes right back down, that is a sign that it held there and it's valid. So I can also even target here, you know, either or works. You can just target the higher high of here, the highs of the liquidity, or you can target you can target this support and resistance, which let's switch that. So that's what I'm looking for AC. I'm looking for it to sweep above this daily dumb smart money supply. That's not the real supply. The real supply is up here, and like I said, I will do a video for you guys on how to spot the difference and, you know, go in depth in that. With that being said, we are at the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Every week I'm going to, at the beginning of the trading week, I'm going to drop a weekly outlook video just like this, showing you the same strategy I use to execute. And then I'll also be dropping throughout the week trades that I take, and I'm going to be linking my Discord in the description. So follow for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.